Jerry back with @theatricallyJerry, giving you my final thoughts on DJWORLD's 250 watt Fresnel zoom. So, if you haven't already, go ahead and check out the in-depth review on this fixture. This is just my final thoughts on it. My final thoughts for this fixture is the build quality is excellent. I mean, compared to other companies such as She HDS or Sheds, the build quality on this is great. They also give you their stamp of approval down here of when it was made, and all of the parameters for this light fixture are printed on this tag here. So I love seeing that as well. This fixture is not going to break if you own it. At least the body's not going to. This thing's built like a tank. It's super thick aluminum and steel, and there's very little plastic on this thing. It feels premium. It feels like the fixtures I use in my professional theater, to give you an idea. So the build quality is superb on this. That passes. Everything feels not cheap. Love that. Some things that I also loved about this is, like I had said in my in-depth review, it's a traditional Fresnel with a twist. It has a mechanical zoom in it. So it can zoom in and out from 15 to 55 degrees. And you can do that through the onboard programming, or you can also do it from your light console. So you do get some variation with this instead of just a static Fresnel light. So I love that. And of course, speaking of Fresnel, I do love the Fresnel's ability to both be a really tight hot spot in the center, and then the super smooth outer wash of the ring. It looks great. So Fresnels definitely have their own characteristic of light. So you're going to notice it from other light fixtures. So Fresnel's classic. They're great. They're great for washes. I personally use mine for washes. But you can get a much tighter beam on these and create highlights if you want to highlight a certain set prop, if you want to highlight something, a person, for instance. You can get this with this light fixture, and you can also achieve it even more with the included barn doors. So that's great. Another thing I liked about this fixture is the dimmer. The dimmer is 100% suitable for theaters. That's coming from me, so the dimmer on this you're not going to be disappointed with. It's super smooth on the lower end. So if you want those really smooth blackouts, this fixture is going to give you that. A couple of other things that I like about this fixture is the sound produced by the fans. It is super silent. So again, going with the theater theme, you're not going to hear the fans on this. Honestly, the loudest thing on this is the zoom mechanism. I don't know if you can hear it right now, but you can hear it when it zooms in and out. It's not super loud. It's definitely still acceptable for a theater, especially if it's hanging 20 feet in the air. So even that's not that bad. Some things I didn't like about this fixture, because I do have to tell you the cons. The strobe, it was supposed to be a 0 to 25 hertz variable strobe. It seems to be a lot slower than that. Personally, I would say it was 20 hertz, like I said in the review. So the strobe is very underwhelming, but honestly, you're not using strobes a lot in theater. If you are, it's for an effect, and they have better lights for that, so you would not be relying on your Fresnel for a strobe. But it's still capable of strobing. It doesn't look bad. It's just not something you're going to use in a concert where you're wanting, you know, the higher refresh rates of 25 to 30 hertz strobes. If you want those, I would just buy a strobe then, because that's what strobes are for. So, you know, lights have specific characteristics, and you have to find the light that you're looking for that specific characteristic. So if you want a higher strobe, obviously get a strobe, but not on this Fresnel. You're not going to get that. Some other things that I did not like on this, they did spell focus wrong in the menu. A lot of overseas companies are having a real difficult time translating stuff to English, so it doesn't spell focus correctly, which honestly doesn't bother me. As long as I know that it's the focus channel, I don't care how it's spelled. So that didn't bother me as much. The packaging was fine on these. Obviously, it's not going to get broken in shipping because, like I said, it's built like a tank, but they could do a little better with their packaging in terms of the outer carton, maybe to make the light fixture look more appealing to people. A couple other things that I really like about this fixture is the built-in macros, because again, Fresnels are more of a static light, so they're kind of boring. But when you have these built-in macros like this one, for instance, you can get some really interesting effects. So I'm glad that they included built-in macros like jump and pulse and stuff like that. Some other things that I liked about this light is that while it's not the lightest fixture I've ever hung, it is easy to hang. There's multiple areas to hang this, to grab onto this fixture to hang it. So, I mean, you have your yoke here, or what I like to call the carrying handle. And again, they do have another handle on the back that is for when you're focusing. For your tilt, you can tilt it up and down with this handle here in the back. I like seeing that. Obviously, if you're going to pan, that's going to be up to the C-clamp that you attach to the yoke or the handle of this light fixture. I do like the back I/O on this. So the I/O layout is super clean, super easy to access. You can chain these quickly, which I love. I love that they included the resettable fuse on the back. So again, with safety, that's also great. It is FCC and CE approved. Again, safety super important, especially if you're working in theaters where insurance is a issue. They want to see that it has passed certain safety inspections. The 250 watt engine on here is bright. Is it the brightest? No, I've seen a lot brighter. It's going to be great for medium-sized theaters to small-sized theaters. This is not going to power, you know, a massive theater like the Straws or Center for Performing Arts in Tampa, something like that. If you go to Morsani or Ferguson, those really, really big theaters, this is probably not going to do that, because it's only a 250 watt light engine. And you also have to realize, and I try to explain this a lot to people on my channels, if it says it's 250 watts, you have to divide that by 4, because there are 4 colors. Each color is not going to be 250 watts. So if this is an RGBW4, you got to divide it by 4. That gives you the total bright or light output or brightness of the LED. So in this case, it's going to be 50 watts. So your red's 50, your green's 50, your blue's 50, your white's 50. Total of 250 watts right there. So if you have just the white on, you're only going to get a 50 watt LED effect out of it. I'm not saying it's dim. It's definitely not dim, but it's definitely not the most powerful light fixture I've reviewed. So small to medium theaters is my recommendation for this fixture, as well as churches, obviously, and anything that involves the need for sound control, because this light fixture is not super loud. Anyways, I appreciate you guys for taking your time to watch this final thoughts video on DJWORLD's 250 watt Zoom Fresnel. Again, if you haven't, go ahead and watch the in-depth review on this. I cover everything on this light fixture in the in-depth review, only on my channel at TheatricallyJerry. So if you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions or comments about this fixture, go ahead and leave it down below. I do respond to them as quickly as I can. I also have my email. If you have an emergency and need to email something, you can also use that as well. And if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe to my channel at TheatricallyJerry. I cover a lot of light fixtures like this. I do a lot of tutorials. I try to cover a broad range of everything from DJ lighting, stage lighting, theatrical effects, atmospherics, to consoles, light consoles, controllers, you name it. Anything that interests me, I'm going to put it up on my channel. So go ahead and subscribe to @TheatricallyJerry. And of course, thank you guys for watching.